Wir müssen diese neue Kampagne gegen Grapschen in Schwimmbad mal sehen. Das ist wirklich der Wahnsinn. Also, dann mal auf Englisch für meine amerikanischen Freunde. There is a campaign in Germany that is trying to warn against, or trying to discourage people being felt up, or kids being felt up in pools here in Germany, because that seems to be a problem. We've got a problem here with mostly immigrant younger people, younger boys, men, feeling up and groping younger girls in these swimming pools during the summertime. It's a real thing. It's a real problem. Such a problem that just recently, one of the swimming pools in one of the states, 9 girls between the ages of, I think, 9 and 17 or 11 and 17 complained about the same people groping them in the pool. So now they've made a campaign, right? And now you can tell that these people, these woke people, these leftist people, these people are complete lunatics, okay? So first let me explain a little bit of the background here, okay? In Germany, they've got these little signs that are made from, they're kind of like cartoon character people showing you, if you're on an airplane, the cartoon pictures of how they put the vest on and how to inflate it and how to put the mask on. If you've ever seen those folders in an airplane, that's kind of like Germany does that with everything. Every gas station I go to and every public restroom, they've got signs on how to wash your hands. And they've got this like cartoon dude squatting on top of the toilet with a big X through it saying, no, you don't use the toilet like this, you sit on it with your ass. And so I guess that the either Germany likes, the government likes pissing away money, or the government thinks that people are completely fucking retarded. And I think it's the second one. I think that they think we are completely retarded. And this new campaign, this anti-swimming pool groping campaign, is one of those greatest examples. So here, the problem is 99% of these sexual attacks in swimming pools are committed by immigrants, by people, non-Germans. You know what I'm saying? People that are here from Syria or Afghanistan or some other Muslim country, maybe Romania, which is not a Muslim country, but Bulgaria. They're generally committed by youth that are not from this country, right? That is the problem, okay? That's the problem. And so they decided to make an anti-groping campaign where they make a little cartoon picture of a middle-aged, fat, red-headed lady, a white lady, groping a black kid with a peg leg in the pool, right? So what they're trying to do, right, instead of, because they do this with everything, right? We've got a massive influx of crime, violent crime in this country because of the immigration. Everybody knows it. The politicians are constantly trying to, float past it and cover it up and pretend it's not immigrants. It's men that are doing this, and men need more stability. It's, the patriarchy. It's climate change. It's whatever. It's psychological problems. It's never immigration. Never. They'll never admit it. The media is the same. They're complicit in lying about this thing, right? They're complicit in lying about it. It's never immigration. But everybody in the country knows that the problem is immigration. We've got more problems with violent crime because of immigration. We've got more problems with kids groping, or teenage boys and younger men groping little girls in swimming pools because of immigration. And everybody knows this. And so now we've got constant reports, because it's summertime, we've got constant reports of girls getting groped in the pool by men and boys that are immigrants, right? And so they make this anti-groping campaign, and they draw a cartoon, not of, even teenage boys groping little girls. No, it's a middle-aged white redheaded lady with a beer belly groping a black kid with a fucking wooden leg. First of all, I'm not so sure that it's a good idea to put your wooden leg in the swimming pool. Okay? And we don't have that many, vulnerable little black boys with wooden legs in Germany. We really don't. And we also don't have an epidemic of middle-aged white ladies groping those little black boys with peg legs in the pool. It's just so ridiculous. They will do everything they possibly can to avoid admitting that this mass immigration from Muslim countries is becoming a problem. Well, I mean, it is a problem, right? Everything. They will do everything to avoid it. They will do everything to deflect from it. They will do everything to deny it, right? It's like with everything that's leftism. Like everything that leftists do that turns to shit, which is everything, right? Everything. Everything they do that turns to shit, it always has the same pattern, right? Always the same flow pattern. It starts off with, we're not doing that. That's not happening. That's not true. That's a conspiracy theory. Then when it gets too brazen, to the point where they can't really say that anymore because now everybody sees they're doing it or sees that it's happening, they go, yeah, well, okay, it might be happening, but it's not happening that much, right? That's not happening that much. You guys are cherry picking like these very, isolated incidents. I mean, there's not that many knife attacks in Germany. 3 a day minimum. 3 a day, okay? So let's say. Then when it gets too obvious that even that is not a sustainable excuse anymore, then they go, yeah, okay, it's happening, but it's a good thing. Diversity is our strength. You know what I'm saying? So then they go, yeah, okay, it's happening, we were doing that, but it's a great thing that it's happening. And that's where we are now. They are blind to the fact that this immigration is a real problem in this country. And not only is it a real problem, the German people are fed up. Right? They want it to stop. And instead, the politicians are going, what? You want it to stop? We're going to give you more. Stop fucking complaining. Go work harder so you can pay for these people to live here for free. Shut up. That's what the politicians are doing. So the politicians are creating a situation in this country that it's going to get to civil war type situations, right? It will, unless the AFD gets elected at some point, finally, hopefully next election. Even the last dumb fucker with only one brain cell left can see that this last election was the wrong way to go. Okay? So, you see it with this campaign against the anti-groping campaign, right? You see it with this. They're shitting on everybody's intelligence, right? Everybody in this country knows that the problem is not middle-aged, red-headed white women with beer bellies groping little black kids in the pool that have a peg leg. That's not a fucking thing, right? It is more like teenage brown kids groping little white girls, right? It's more like that. And let me tell you something, right? This is going to end up in violence, this kind of shit, because at some point, one of these kids, one of these people, one of these men, or teenage boys is going to grope some girl whose father is also at the pool, and all hell's going to break loose. And that father is going to defend his daughter. And he's not going to wait for the fucking lifeguard to call the police, and the police maybe not doing anything about it, because that's what happens. These Syrian guys that grope these 9 girls at the pool, they're still free. They're not arrested. You know what I'm saying? They're still out there. And so people are going to start taking the defense of their family into their own hands because they've got no choice, because the government is basically leaving it up to them, right? You've got no choice but to arm yourself if you live in a bigger city in this country. You've got no choice but to put your kids, if you live in a big city in this country, you've got to put your kids in some sort of self-defense training. You've got no choice, because they are living with the dangers of these immigration policies every single day, and it's costing people's lives. And until the politicians are willing to see that and actually act accordingly, more and more danger is going to come upon the regular German person, which is going to force them to start taking care of themselves. And let me tell you the problem. If one father beats the fuck out of one of these Syrian kids because they groped his daughter, the Syrian kid is going to call his whole clan full of fucking family members, and those people's lives are going to be pretty much over. They're going to have to move, right? That's the situation we're going to get into, because these immigrants will come after people with their whole band of family members and friends. You know what I'm saying? And they are not scared at all of police repercussions or police. They're not worried about any of that shit. They're not worried about getting deported. They're not worried about spending a long time in jail. Why? Because they see all their cohorts getting away with crimes over and over again. Nobody ever gets deported. Nobody ever goes to prison for a long ass time. Rapists and child rapists are getting out of jail in record numbers, in record time. You know what I mean? Especially if they're immigrants, illegal or otherwise. They get preferable treatment over German people in this country. In this country, the politicians prefer people from other countries over their own population. It's just a fact. You know what I mean? So lucky for them, you know what I mean? But bad luck for the German people. You know? Bad luck. There was just an axe attack on a fucking train. And I think the way the story went out is the guy didn't kill anybody, and somebody on the train took the axe, and he had a hammer or something as well, and took one of those or both of them from him and beat the fuck out of him with it. Now, more and more of that's going to happen. Because what do you expect? What do you expect? The German people have said for years now, please roll back this immigration. It's getting dangerous. We want our kids to be able to walk down the street without fear. We want to be able to continue to go to parties and big parties, organizations, things, events. That's what I was looking for. Events without being in fear. We don't want to have to teach our kids how to fight and defend themselves against basically invaders to the country, you know? And the government is just not responding, right? They're not responding. They are not. And some people might think, well, it's so far gone now. The problem's so far gone, they can't do anything. They can. They can do stuff. Look at what Trump's doing in America. They can do something for sure, right? They won't. They don't want to do something. They don't want to do what is necessary to solve this problem for the native population in the country. They don't want to do it. So instead of facing the facts, they duck their heads once again in the sand, right? And they don't want to make a campaign that depicts a little black kid or a fucking teenage black kid or a brown kid from Somalia or fucking Syria or whatever groping a little white girl. They're not going to do it. So they thought that they made a convincing campaign by drawing a redheaded, middle-aged, fat white lady groping a black kid with a peg leg. It couldn't get any more insane. It really couldn't. It's absolute madness. You know, these people are so far gone that ideology is the only thing keeping them alive. They will die when they hit reality. Reality will come knocking for these people one day. And I am quite sure it's going to be a horrible wake-up call. I think the only way these people that, for example, and when I say these people, I mean people like those that are responsible for drawing this campaign, this anti-groping campaign, the only thing that's going to wake these people up is if this kind of shit happens to their children. If their children get raped or groped or whatever, or one of their relatives or good friends gets attacked with an axe on the fucking train while he's on his way to work. That's the only way these people are going to wake up. So I'm very sorry that that's what's going to have to happen to these people. I wish it didn't. But people that refuse to see reality will get woken up. Reality will catch up to your ass. It's just no way to avoid it, ever. There's no way. It will come knocking one day. You can pretend it's not there for a long time. One day it's going to come. That's why ideology is so misleading. That's why ideology is so bad, right? Ideology is the evil. And these people are caught in ideology. It's unreal. If you haven't seen this campaign, look it up on the internet. Anti-Corruption-Kampagne, anti-groping campaign in Germany at the swimming pools, depicting the extreme horrible reality of the fact that we have psychopathic red-headed middle-aged women groping little peg-leg boys in the swimming pool. It's unreal. Dude, I'm sorry. These people are ridiculous. Hey, have a great weekend. We'll see you guys on Monday.